Morning Year 12. In today's lesson we're going to review the week. We're going to look at virtual networks and we're going to look at the questions and the homeworks. Can I say at this stage how important it is that you stay on top of the work and that you submit your work on time so that it can be marked. Even though I'll be accepting late work, you'll not be scored full marks because we'll be going through the answers in these lessons. So we will begin with an overview of the week. This week you were supposed to have completed the virtual networks question, a homework and a multiple choice quiz. So again, that's not due until today, until 3 o'clock. But what concepts were we trying to grasp? This idea what a virtual network is, and if you referred to your notes, it clearly defined it here, that virtual networks are defined through software. It's the idea that we use the physical connections within a local area network, but set aside part of that for what we call a virtual network. We allow different computing devices to communicate within it. If you see here, the devices A, they're within this LAN, but they are connected through this router in their own virtual network. If you consider it even within your house, the idea that you can create a virtual network connecting to your home hub or your internet router, and we could have two devices communicating together within a virtual network. So it says here in the BBC Bite Size that they're unrelated and they're connected via the internet. We are on a virtual network now. We are on the C2K domain. We're connecting to Google Classroom, the C2K domain. They have set aside part of their infrastructure to allow us to create a virtual network. You're logging in with your C2K username and password to Google Classroom, as am I. We're communicating together using the internet. We are on a virtual network. So that was this week's learning. And if we look at the homework, the first was a question, and if you just look at Tom's, the question was pretty straightforward. What is a virtual network? It's 4 marks, and remember, 1 mark per mark point, so you must pretty much say 4 things. So Tom goes on to say the virtual network, they're non-physical, that idea that they're not physically connected together, and they allow, so that's 1 mark point, they allow a LAN to be split up into smaller LANs. 2 mark points, they are networks in which users in those networks can only access data within that. And again, I would have liked an example there, for example, C2K or Google Classroom within C2K, but still a mark point. They're networks in which the users log on from anywhere as long as they have an internet connection. This idea that it can be defined over the internet connection. Tom's given me 4 points and each of them worthy of 4 mark points. And again, if we look at Eva's very quickly, a group of devices that aren't in the same area, but 1 mark point, but they're connected to the internet. Physical LAN to be separated, 3rd mark point. They don't have any physical connections, but they can share files and communicate. And finally, they they're defined by software. So again, plenty of information on what a virtual network is. And if we look at the homeworks and the answers, this was a bit of a revision from what we've done before Christmas, but I think I'm looking at Adam's homework where people didn't secure full marks was either 1, a lack of technical detail, or 2, you didn't refer to the question. Describe the relationship between this website. So Adam's given me more than 5 points, and we look at why he's got mark points. First mark point, enters in the URL but refers to the example ocr.org.uk. Second mark point, it's sent to a domain name server, the DNS. So the URL is sent to the name server's IP address as a DNS query. So there's a second mark point. That when you type that in and hit enter, your internet service provider makes a connection to a domain name server, and it looks up and it finds an IP address. Third mark point, the name server returns the IP address of the request website, and it gives the example. In this case, we've got the IP address. So we've now got an IP address, and we can make a connection with that server, and we can request the file, which in this case was a web page. So Adam then says a server with the same IP address, the server running the website returns the files that were being requested to the user. And finally, for the 5th point, the website or the OCR website will appear on the user screen. A very difficult question because you had to be very technical and be very specific to that example. So look at Adam's model answer. Make sure that you go over the multiple choice quiz question by the end of today, and don't forget that next week we will be meeting again on Monday, and our class time on Monday is 11:15. So if we sorry, if I just go back and look at that, it's 11:15. Just to explain how you get in that, don't forget that if you go into the classroom, it's this link here. All you have to do is click in here and it will log it. Other than my camera is already being in use, but that's how you get into the meet, and we're meeting again on Monday at 11:15. Folks, have a great weekend, and I'll chat Monday. Bye.